Hello, everyone, for another day of 2020 happiness. As I look at the end of the month and I start seeing that we're coming to a conclusion of the first month, I realize that there's a lot I would still like to cover as far as topics are concerned, but I'm going to focus more on Q&A here because it seems that, or whenever it comes to speaking to an audience, you want to be able to relate to what their needs happen to be. And some of the needs expressed to me are regarding those we care for. So you're on your way. You've decided, I'm going to be Buddha now, or whatever it is, whatever your goals happen to be. And you need for the people around you, the people you love, to understand that, be on board. And they can sometimes sabotage you in two ways. One, they get in the way. You can't seem to find a way for them to fit into maybe your new career. Maybe you're having debates about, how to balance time with a new project or a new job or a new initiative, whatever you're trying to do. Or they may just not buy into what you're trying to do. Additionally, there may be problems in your family. You may have someone who's drinking too much, who's out too much, who has a blind spot somewhere, and you're trying to help them so they can be, better and more of a partner in whatever journey you're taking. And when those things happen, when you're experiencing these type of things, meaning you're trying to influence and or gain the support of family members, it can be very hard because you want something from them. You want them to be well. There's a lot of emotion. You have a lot invested in making them okay. And it's hard. So I'm going to share with you two stories, personal stories, about how I came to learn this myself and what the experience was and what the results happened to be. So it's two examples. The first one, I may have spoken about it already, probably in other interviews if you've seen me have those interviews. It's about my wife. My wife would, and she doesn't do it lately over the last year or so, but in the past, she used to ask me, she goes, Henry, you're a very good coach. You seem to be very supportive. People seem to find you very supportive and very helpful. Why don't you act that way towards us and your family? And I had no idea what she meant. I said, I thought to myself, I'm just as supportive and listening, etc., to the people I love, probably more so to the people I love than the people that I don't, or people I don't feel such an affinity to. And I always thought this. I just assumed this was the case. But I took a look at my behavior, taking notes and then just trusting her, right? That she's not saying this to make me feel bad. She's saying it because she feels it's true. I looked at it and I realized that was the case. That's true. When I was listening to my family, my children, my older children particularly, my wife, relatives, brothers, things of that nature, I find myself doing less listening. I find myself already thinking I know the solution to their problem before they even finish speaking. And even if I'm correct, even if I know the solution to their problem, let's say in the end I was correct. Usually I'm not, but let's say I was, for the sake of argument. Not listening to them, not really being in the moment, being myself, being what they need, which is an ear, someone who's not judgmental, someone who's really showing and feels that, showing that they are listening, showing that they're there. I wasn't doing that. And I practiced and I practiced and I practiced. And I didn't one day just ask Sasha, am I doing better? What would happen is over the last year or so, Sasha will say, Henry, when you said this, or, I took a page out of the Henry playbook for this situation, or she'll use words and language that I use in describing the world or in describing things. And that touches me and it touches me so much. But it's not a case of her doing it to make me happy. She's doing it because my influence has grown. I have more credibility with her. And that happened not because I told her what she needed to do. I listened. I got her to solve her own problems. But at the end of the day, I was just a better coach to the people I love by letting myself realize that, the right techniques work. So just let them speak, listen, be more of a listener, be more of a supportive force than a coercive or manipulative force. And we do that subconsciously with those we love. So that's one example. So I guess the lesson there for me was, if you're going to be a coach, you need to practice that with your family. At the end of the day, I became a better coach, better parent, better husband, etc. But also, if this is you trying to do something new and, your family is not on board, people are uncertain or people are scared when they don't understand something. It doesn't make sense to them. And you arguing with them or forcing them to see your side isn't going to help. Empathy, you just doing you, first of all, with no malice, will help. because they usually don't like change before it happens, and then when it happens they complain a little bit, but then they accept it. But also listening to the fears people have. A lot of politicians do it. They have town halls, etc. I'm not saying become a politician, but there's some truth to letting people just voice their concerns and letting them know you're listening. So that's one. The second was something that I really had difficulty coming to understand, and that is my 19-year-old daughter. Well, she wasn't 19 at the time, she was more like 16. And we would argue constantly. And it wasn't the typical teenage arguments where she's not listening and I'm upset. It was she was living in Canada. We had her doing exchange, living with family in Canada, as well as just in general. We'd have conversations. Or she'd talk to me. She'd call me every day. She would call me every day. We'd talk, whether she was in Canada or not. We're pretty close. And I would find that after 10 or 15 minutes, we'd argue. She would say, "Why are you mad, Daddy?" And I would think, "I'm not mad." And she'd hear something in my voice, hang up the phone. Or we'd wind up arguing over something. And it happened all the time, literally every conversation. I remember being at work. I'm in the hallway trying to get some privacy on my cell phone, talking to my daughter in Canada, and I'm raising my voice. I'm so frustrated with her. She's a good girl. She's great. Drives me a little crazy, but that's what children are supposed to do. But I found out what I was doing was I was giving her advice when all she wanted to do was talk to me. She wanted to share, as most people do, what's on their mind. And children are a little more selfish, let's say. They're used to their parents are a well of support. So she was just speaking to me, and I was thinking to myself, how do I solve her problem? How do I give her wisdom? How do I play dad? And looking at that, using the same techniques, note taking, just observing, am I doing the right thing? Am I being myself in those moments when I'm with my children? And I found that no child or no person wants to hear cliches and advice every time they share a thought with someone. It's condescending. It's boring. Not to mention, most times people speak because they want to get something off their chest. So, and it was hard. But the results have been great. I stopped judging my daughter. I just listened to her. I started being the coach that I wanted. Just listen, hold my tongue, ask her, how was it? Be the same person I would be with as a perfect stranger that I would be with my daughter. And the result is she listens to my advice. Not even that, she listens to her own advice. And she can work out now how to solve problems. She's come with me with some issues, and I've listened to her, and she's worked it out herself. Not during the conversation, but a week or two later, I'll look at her and observe her. We'll have a conversation, and that issue's blown over. So when it comes to family, it is hard, and it is not simple to be that new you, right? You fall into old routines and old habits. Don't blame yourself for this. As always, take notes on what you could have done better, and just practice doing it. And as you get more consistent, yesterday I was talking to my daughter. She's now 19. She was staying over at the house last night. She wasn't done up enough to do a video. She was like, "No, Dad, maybe next time." But I asked her, why don't we argue so much? I think I've changed, but do you perceive anything? And she's just like, we just, she was just like, I don't embarrass her. I don't give her advice all the time. I listen a little better. I could still do better, and I'm still going to keep trying. But nonetheless, those are the things that are going to happen to you when you try to be different or you try to follow a road. You're going to fall into old habits. You're going to get emotional. You're going to get disrupted. And that's why meditation works. Meditation isn't just something you do. I want to be Buddha, let's meditate. No, meditation is to help you clear your mind so you can be that person, so you can see the emotions within you and figure out, okay, what's the best way of approaching this the next time these issues come up. So the notes, the meditation, follow those. They've helped me, and hopefully they will help you. So I'll leave you with that, and I look forward to talking with you tomorrow. And again, I'll be on my Asia tour. I think by the time this video posts, I will be on it. And as always, if you want me to tour, come to your town, all you do is drop me some questions and let me know of a cafe somewhere in your city, and I'll come meet up with you. So anyway, take care. Have a great week. Bye.